Well, howdy there, pipe pals. Old Holy Smoking Pipe Padre saying howdy. How y'all doing? Well, here I am in my sartorial splendor. This is a smoking jacket that I got about maybe 2 years ago. And I remember getting a smoking jacket. Let me just get a little closer here to the microphone. I remember getting a smoking jacket because I had experienced a couple of times, sad to say, let me get this down here. Smoking and getting some ashes and embers on my shirts, and unfortunately I ruined them. And one day I said, you know what, maybe that's why they made smoking jackets, so people could enjoy smoking a pipe, and if they got a few little embers on them, oh well, you know, it's just a smoking jacket. I'm not going to wear this anywhere. You know, I'm not going to be walking the red carpet for the Academy Awards. I'm not going to be going to George Clooney's wedding anytime soon. I think that already happened, didn't it? You know, I didn't get an invite. How about you? Did George invite you to that wedding? I didn't get an invite. I'm kind of a little bit upset with him right now. I'm going to be very honest with you. So George, if you're watching, you know, I have strong words come to mind, sir. You did not invite me to the wedding, and I feel very, very left out and hurt. Well, anyway, I'm back, and it's been a couple of weeks. And guess what? I am smoking. You got it. You know, Tanya, you're watching. Tanya from Deutschland. I think it's Lieb Pfeiffer. Anyway, she says, Father Francis, this Bookshop is becoming your red Sillams pipe, and she's absolutely right. Absolutely. So, Tanya, you got it in one. Smoking the Sillams Red. And got a couple of nice comments and questions from people. Try and maybe get to those in a little bit here. But, you know, I wanted to say something. Those of you who are kind of new to the hobby, and some of you who are even veterans and inveterate pipe smokers. One of the things you learn is sometimes some tobaccos can be a little bit elusive, and sometimes you can't rush to judgment on a tobacco. Now, some tobaccos are wonderful, delightful from the very first bowl that you have, and your appreciation of them can grow, certainly. But some tobaccos, you really have to go the extra mile to get to know them. Okay, just like people. There are some people that, you know, you can, you know, meet them for the first time and they're just likable people. Some people are just maybe they're a little more reticent. They're a little more reserved. Maybe they're introverted. And you gotta kind of spend time, you know, getting to know. Well, that's why I did not give you a review right off the bat with Sillams Red. Black, tried the first time, loved it. Loved it. Hold on a second, I need to get an adult libation here. This is not vino, but it is the fruit of the bean. It's kind of a rare evening for me. Tomorrow is October 4th. It's the Feast of St. Francis. And I get to sleep in on my feast day. Don't ask me why, but I do. And so normally I'm up by 4:30 on my CrossFit mornings, which was like today. And then other mornings I'm up celebrating the Mass, but tomorrow I will not be celebrating the Mass. It'll be Father Leon. And so I'm just going to be, I'm not saying sleeping in, but I'm just not going to be having the responsibility for doing that tomorrow. I am working on my weekly homily, so it's not like I'm going to be indolent by any stretch of the imagination, but I am just have other little projects that I'll be able to do quietly, and it's kind of nice to just not always have to be going somewhere, and that's always, sometimes it doesn't happen a lot, but once in a blue moon it does, and it's quite enjoyable. And so tonight, just taking it easy. It's just one of those beautiful autumnal evenings. Perfect night to smoke a pipe. Oh man. Light some candles. Get out your favorite pipe tobacco and pipes and just, oh. Go to town, folks. Doesn't get any better. But I wanted to say this thing about the Sillams Red. When I first tried Sillams Red, it had some what I would call flavor overtones, harmonic overtones for you music people out there. I just didn't care for it. And the problem was, and I can even detect a little bit of it still now, but it's really calmed down to where it actually probably is more akin to a fruit flavor as opposed to a chemical flavor, if that makes any sense. I think that sometimes when they do case tobaccos, and I'm not a big, I mean, I like good tobaccos, and the Briar Patch has a nice collection of good tobaccos. I have to say, I think the best blended tobaccos that I've had so far are Boswell tobaccos. Now that doesn't mean that everything else is bad except for Boswell and Briar Patch. I didn't say that. I used to love a lot of Tinderbox blends. Some of the Tinderbox blends are wonderful. There was a blend, and if anybody's watching and you know how to get your hot little mitts on a tin or a bag or whatever, it was called Tropical Mix. And I remember smoking that in the fall. And there was just something magical about Tropical Mix. And I know that the Briar Patch, we don't have one anymore in our local neighborhood. It was run out of the mall after 30 some odd years for the politically correct police did that, sad to say. But that was a magical store. But anyway, Tropical Mix. If anybody knows how to get their hands on Tropical Mix from the Tinderbox, let me know. But anyway, getting back to the Sillams Red. At first, there was a very unpleasant, overpowering aftertaste or something that you had to kind of ignore almost. Because there were other good things about the tobacco. And so one of the tricks that you do is you take one pipe and you marry it up with said tobacco, and that's all you smoke in. And over a period of time, it will begin to reveal the subtleties in that one tobacco. I remember dear Bruno said that I needed to do that with Dunhill Mixture 975 or 976 or whatever it is. Hold a second. Oh, here it is. 965. 965. And so, although I haven't done that quite yet, I am working diligently on unlocking the secrets of Sillams Red. Now, I tried the Sillams Green, and I think I shared with you that it had a coconutty flavor to it. very subtle coconutty flavor, which I loved, and I thought it was great. Sillams Green usually gets tanked. I mean, people just, it's like you put it up on a dartboard and start throwing darts at it. People just don't like Sillams Green. And I think Sillams Red is probably a notch or two below that. Either you're going to love it or you're going to hate it. Sillams Black, sorry folks. Again, on my scale, that gets a 9. Right out of the chute there, it gets a 9. But I will say this, the tobaccos that you need to spend a little extra time learning to get acquainted with and learning to even love, well, there's a different kind of a relationship there. It's kind of one of those delicate relationships, but you appreciate it maybe a little bit more because it didn't come maybe as naturally to you, But you begin to appreciate those really fine, almost esoteric qualities in that tobacco. Yeah. So, if you have a tobacco that you're just not sure about, what I'd say is just start smoking it in one dedicated pipe. Don't be using it for your daily blend, your go-to blend, or somebody comes over and says, "Hey, I got some old Ironsides. Would you like to try some of that?" Got that pipe right here, by the way. Even though I'm still doing the Sillams season, smoking Sillams. That's what I'm doing. But I occasionally will fire up a little bit of rich English. Yes, sir. Somebody asked me, how many bowls do I smoke in a day? In the end, the simple answer is probably 0, because I don't smoke every day. It has to be where, one, I can sit and enjoy it, because that's what I want to do. To me, smoking a pipe is just like pure enjoyment. And I'm going to highlight that. Pure enjoyment. And it's not addiction. See, addictions are not something you really enjoy. You have to satisfy the craving, the addiction that you have. So basically, you're not really smoking, the addiction is smoking, or drinking, or eating. Still got a problem with that eating thing. Yeah, talk about that in a little bit here. But when I do enjoy a pipe, it is just that, just pure enjoyment. It's not something I have to do. It's not something I kind of like, well, I really need to smoke some pipes, I just choose to do that when I want to enjoy myself, And I don't rush through it. It just doesn't make sense. So it's just one of those things that I just, one of those little creaturely comforts that is a real source of, I think, wholesome pleasure, You don't have to worry about blowing into a breathalyzer thing, or you don't have to worry about calories. So those are two really positive things about pipe smoking right off the bat. But again, do I dare say I even taste cherry now? Wow. So, again, if you have a tobacco you're just not sure about, spend some time with it. Get to know it. Give it a chance. And I know that eventually, now, again, it could be, now, let's talk about, now when I'm talking about tobaccos, and sometimes you get one and you go, it's just absolutely dreadful. Again, I'm not talking about forcing yourself to smoke something that just is really something that's almost dreadful, like I hate to always beat a dead horse, but and again, I even hate to even say it because I used to love this blend. It was a store-bought blend, and it was it was probably my go-to blend when I was a young pipe smoker. First starting out was that Borkum Riff. But when I got a hold of some at the store several years ago and tried it, it literally was. It was like going out in the back of an abandoned lot and pulling up a whole bunch of star thistles, dried up old star thistles and weeds, and jamming them in my pipe and lighting that. I don't think that's going to be very flavorful. So again, if you got some stuff and it's just absolutely dreadful. I mean, you can't even, it burns your throat. It doesn't even have any taste to it. It just that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a good quality pipe tobacco, okay, and something that it's a quality product. But for whatever reason, it's not something you were expecting, and maybe it's not. You got a big question mark there, So, but if it's still like this, doesn't really burn hot. It pretty much is an even smoke. You have a good pipe to smoke in. And I'm not trying to sound like some pipe snob, like it has to be a Dunhill, or it has to be, an Ashton, or it has to be, fill in the blank. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's a good quality pipe. It's a pipe that has proven that it's a good smoker. And you can just take some time. And that's all you need to do. And but again, I was going to refer back to another tobacco that I was introduced to. Oh, excuse me, by Matches 860. We all know one of his favorite go-to blends is Haunted Bookshop, and again, what a wonderful time of year to smoke Haunted Bookshop here in October. And Haunted Bookshop was, I think, probably the first tobacco that I kind of did this, dedicate it to a certain pipe, and kept trying to smoke it. Haunted Bookshop is it's a different animal altogether. I've never had anything with the exception of the old Joe Krantz that I had with Eric a couple weeks ago, the tobacconist. I'm Eric Austin Lee. The thing about Haunted Bookshop is it's got a unique flavor, but you do have to treat it with a lot of respect, I think. And it will kick your little popo if you're not used to high octane, high nicotine tobaccos. And, again, I would say one thing, if you're not, it's sort of like I remember a couple guys talking about doing some reviews on, was it Pipe Lawyer? Gentleman from the South. Really interesting fellow. Always had some beautiful pipes. Used to have Friday night pipes. But he did a review on Nightcap. And a couple other guys did review of Nightcap. I might have even done one after those guys. But the thing was that, we was kind of talking about, hey, this is a high potent tobacco. You got to treat it with some respect. And I just think that that Haunted Bookshop is definitely one of those tobaccos. And to me, it is an intriguing tobacco. In fact, I still have a remnant that a couple of people made comments, road apples. It smells like road apples. Yep, with that one tin, or one, yeah. It's got enough in there probably for one bowl. And maybe later tonight, when it's just about time to go to bed, I might fire some of that up and just to see, But anyway, so been doing the Sillams season still. Sillams season still is going on. Black, green, and red. And so, again, right now, would I give the Sillams Red what would I give it? Well, I think I'd probably give it a 7.5 right now. It seems to have calmed down some of that one harsh overtone, which every now and then I pick up. It's sort of like, how many of you have had cilantro? I know Senor Jaime. I know he's probably a big cilantro guy. And cilantro is a wonderful spice. It's a wonderful herb. But like garlic or any other potent herb, it can be overdone. And when it's overdone, it is not pleasant. But when you get it in the right proportions with other wonderful flavors, it can kick up your taste buds to a whole new level, and you can really appreciate it. And it's like, oh, I like it prepared like that. So I think it's the same way with some blended tobaccos. You have to give them a chance, give them some time, and let nature take its course. Okay, well, I'm going to get another little sip of my... I think I will, with your permission, go to this English now. I've been also hankering for some really just a basic, good old-fashioned English. And shall we? Here we go. Just got a little ember on my finger, and man, it hurts. That's also another little trick, and I talked a little bit about that. You know, kind of having two different things going at the same time almost. You can take your pipe and then chase it with a cigar, and it somehow enhances that flavor. Wow. Whoa. Old Ironsides. Wonderful English. You know, kind of reminds you of burning autumn leaves on a cold Saturday autumn morning. Wow. Wonderful stuff. I just love English too. I mean, English is English. I mean, it's just... Boy, that's good. Okay, some of you, I can already hear you. Well, what would you rate Old Ironsides? Tell me. Okay, well, just be patient. Get all things in time. Okay, I'd give this an 8. I mean, I've had it before, and again, I like English, and this is it's an unpretentious. It is what it is. It is English. There's no doubt about it. This thing even has an English accent. Quite so, right? Huh? Hot cheese, here, boy. Right. One of the things about English. Pardon me. I get, and I know you're going to think I'm truly daft when I say this. I always, some of the overtones that I get with an English are akin to a creamy, sometimes even a fromage kind of a taste, kind of a cheesy taste. It's not bad, you know. You might think, "Ew, that sounds nasty," you know. No, it's like kind of like a sharp English cheddar. Again, it's not a sweet flavor. It's not a sweet smoke flavor. It is definitely a hearty, pungent, kind of almost, I wouldn't say biting, but it's very smooth. And again, I know it kind of sounds a little incongruent, but there is kind of a creaminess to an English. I don't know why, but it is. There is. And it's just very delightful, very smooth. This is very cool. This is a cool smoke. So anyway, well, I did want to just, this is my Sheraton. I like this pipe. It is an English pipe. Well, the one personal thing I guess I want to talk about this evening, maybe with your permission, and I know I've been going long already, so if you're watching, God bless you, and if you need to change channels or go do something else, feel free. I'm not going to talk about the iPhone tonight, I promise. But still working on the old diet and exercise and all that. I wanted to show you something. This was something that when I was starting to lose the weight about a year and a half ago, probably have to take the old jacket off. By the way, if you're wondering where I got the jacket, I ordered it from things called Historical Emporium. They sell period regalia and costumes, or I don't know if they're really costumes, but they're just replicas. So, and it wasn't that expensive. I think it wasn't really expensive, but again, it was a nice jacket for smoking. But this here is a vest that I had, many years ago, and you can probably see that it is obviously pretty big. But, you can pull that bad boy out, okay? But a year and a half ago, I'll just tell you this, it was, I remember, because I couldn't, it was a physical impossibility. I could only bring it to about here. Okay, I could not physically bring the two halves together. Couldn't do it. After about maybe a month or two, I could probably button the first two buttons, but I could not button the bottom ones at all. Couldn't do that. But as the months and the diet, the walking, and the fasting that I did, eventually I was able to completely button it all the way to the bottom without it being, like having to suck in my gut for the last two ones. So I just remember, and I want to remember and keep this as a reminder of where I've been and where I came from and where I'm at today. So why am I talking about it again? Well, last weekend we had our Parish Festival, and they're always a wonderful event, lots of good fellowship and food. And for about the last 5-6 weeks, I've been on a special eating plan from CrossFit. And it's been great. I dropped almost 9 pounds. I was kind of at a plateau. And man, it was great. But here's the thing that alarms me. And I guess I'm a little bit concerned, and I'm also kind of annoyed. And it's my fault, so I take full responsibility for what I'm about to say. So don't, I'm not condemning any person per se, and I'm not condemning any company, but I want to make a point. And that is when I start eating grains, sugars, and processed food, which is what I did this last weekend, I will gain weight in a very rapid way, and I have allergies to some of the things that I eat, and my face will break out, just boom. And it's scary because I was just thinking about this morning. I said, I had 2 days where I pretty much said, well, I'm just going to enjoy some of the prepared foods, and went to the store even and said, well, I've kind of took a weekend off. Even my coach said, well, a lot of people have been on the diet now for 5 weeks. A lot of them are doing great just like you, and for some reason everybody seemed to last weekend, it was either weddings or birthdays or baptisms, or yours was Parish Festival, and people just kind of took a couple days off and just didn't worry about it. And she says, don't worry about it, get back on Monday or whenever. But 2 days, just 2 days, I ate stuff. When I found out what was in some of the food, even though it was prepared, I'm like going, oh, I don't eat that. And so I went ahead and I was polite and I just ate what I was put in front of me. But I had a little experiment where I went and got some wheat sandwiches, because I don't eat bread anymore, and I had a couple of sandwiches, obviously bread, and I had some cake. And let me tell you, I put on 4 to 5 pounds in like two days, and my face starts breaking out again. And I thought, well, that's not fair. It's not fair. But then I realized that the processed foods that I used to eat all the time and that didn't think about it, I don't do that for a reason. And the reason is, part of it's my face breaks out, and digestive problems, weight gain, rapid weight gain, not just 1 or 2 pounds. We're talking, within 2 days, 5 pounds. I'm going, whoa, just like that. And what is scary is that a lot of us don't really think about it. We eat a lot of processed food. I mean, I used to eat it all the time. And yeah, I knew I had all these problems, but I just thought, well, that's just life, that's just the way it is. But once I started eating, fresh vegetables and, eating clean or eating healthy, a lot of my problems, the arthritis in my hand, I can feel a little bit of it. It's coming back. For the last 5 weeks, this hand has been strong without any pain. And the reason why I say it is because I use this hand to shake people's hands after Mass. And I noticed the last 5 weeks that it doesn't hurt, because I used to think, oh, I don't want to stand outside and say hi to people because they're going to grab my hand and it hurts. And the last 5 weeks, those pains have been gone. And it's like been a real pleasure and a joy to, give. Some guys want to give you a good handshake. I even have little elderly ladies that would make me wince sometimes because they would grab my hand, and I'm just like, oh, because they grab your hand because they're not trying to give you the old death grip, but they're holding on to you because they need that balance. So when they grab your hand, a lot of times you think they're just going to give you a nice little gentle handshake. Well, it's sort of like that, but then they kind of lose their balance, and then all their energy gets transferred into that handshake, and you're going, whoa, I feel that. So it's just really, and there's a couple of you PM'd me, and a couple of you are kind of on your special journey to lose weight, and God bless you. You know who I'm talking to right now. You're doing good. Just keep with it. And if you have a setback like I did last weekend, well, you know what? You had a setback, but today's a new day. Don't worry about it. Don't let it get you down. You know what you need to do. Just get back on the old beam there and just keep going. But it's a real good kind of reminder that how sensitive our bodies are, when it comes to processed foods, chemicals. And again, I don't think, it's not like there's some, maybe there's some evil plot, that the food manufacturers are doing so they know that they're going to get you addicted to their prepackaged foods, and you're going to eat those all the time, and later you'll have to go to your doctor and get medicines to take care of all the problems that the chemicals in the food are now going to have you get chemicals to control your blood pressure and your cholesterol and and your irritable bowel syndrome and you name it. So the thing is that
all the colors of joy.
It's just not worth it. And the holidays are coming up, right? Starting with Halloween, with all the Halloween candy. I used to love Halloween candy, and I probably still love candy, but I just don't do that anymore. But as far as haven't had any quote unquote candy. There were times when I was younger, and I would just go out and get a bag of candy bars, bag of donuts or something, and yeah, don't do that anymore. But just eating, a simple whole wheat sandwich, or having somebody give you some food and they prepared it and everything. And I asked the guy, "So this is really tasty. What is it?" He told me what was in it. I went, "Oh, I'm not supposed to be eating that." I didn't say anything. I just said, "Thank you very much. It's delicious," and it was. But I went, "Uh-oh." And plus, it also sets you up for other things too. You kind of get a little. And it just, so that's why I just, just don't want to go back to eating all that stuff anymore, because one, I enjoy what I eat now, and what I eat now is a completely balanced diet, and it's very enjoyable. There was a point where I had to kind of like go, "Oh, I got to eat this stuff. Oh, I don't like this. It doesn't taste all that great." But it's sort of like going back to the pipe tobacco. Once you start exclusively, eating a certain way, and you go through, some people call it the carb flu, the processed food withdrawals and the sugar withdrawals. But once you start doing that, then you start being able to taste the good food that you should be eating, or that'll make you healthy and happy. Now if somebody said, "Well, we're going to give you this big pizza, for free, and you can have any toppings you want," and blah 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 blah, there would be a time I said, "Oh, I'm going for the pizza. Definitely going for the pizza," right? Now I'm probably going to say, "No, thank you. I'm going to stay with my dinner. My dinner on Fridays is a nice baked piece of salmon, butternut squash. Ooh, butternut squash, folks. Let me tell you." And you don't have to put sugar on it either. The natural sugars in that butternut squash, when you bake that, especially when you chill it, the next morning you have it for maybe even breakfast, it tastes just like pumpkin pie. Because I put some cinnamon and nutmeg and some pumpkin pie spice on that. That's all, no sugar, no honey, no brown sugar, nothing like that. But the natural sugars inside that will be just enough. And when it's cold out of the refrigerator, it scoops out just like a piece of pumpkin pie. Oh, is it good? Oh, I'm getting hungry thinking about it right now. And I have a big, huge green salad. Don't really do a lot of dressings. Actually, I throw in some olives, some walnuts maybe, some pistachio nuts sometimes. There's a little berry vinaigrette that I sometimes use, not a lot, but I don't even choose to do that. And I can do a little bit of olive oil in our vinaigrette or balsamic vinaigrette or whatever. I just choose to just maybe put a little dash of salt on there, maybe a little lemon juice, maybe. But basically, I just like the crunch and the texture and the flavor of the vegetables that all work together. So, and some people might say that sounds kind of boring, or it sounds healthy, but I'd rather have the pizza. Well, there was a time I would have had the pizza too. But it's not so much the way it tastes good. Don't get me wrong, it does taste good. But the overarching principle here are the physical benefits that I get. It promotes healing. Also, another thing too, if you're interested, and I believe this is true. A little bit of coconut oil. When you get blemishes, like I got 2 or 3 of them there, I'll just take a little bit of that coconut oil, and then by tomorrow morning, they'll probably be pretty much on their way to healing up. Coconut oil is a wonderful natural remedy for not only just putting it on a little bit of food and getting some natural fats in there, but also it's a good healing agent as well. So I love coconut oil. I think it's a wonderful product. Wonderful food. It's a healing food. So anyway, I just want to get on here and just share some thoughts and have a wonderful autumnal evening, a nice pipe with you all, a couple pipes, and just share with you what's going on in my world. And just say hi to some folks and think, Robert, I hope you're doing better. There's a lot of people that will stop by and say howdy, and it's good to see you. Love your comments. Hope you're having a great day wherever you're at, and hope you're having a wonderful pipe somewhere and enjoying a wonderful tobacco. Maybe I'll just close this whole thing with a question. What's been one of your pipe tobaccos that you've had to really spend time getting to know? Share that with us. If you have some, I notice there's a lot of things that people are starting to use the term hacks. Paleo hacks and iPhone hacks, and it's sort of like little secret things that people can do to make something better, right? That's a hack, right? What are some of your tobacco pipe hacks? That you can make a tobacco, maybe a tobacco that's not that great, really make it work for you. It's wonderful when you get a tobacco that just sings right out of the tin. You're just like, you're in love. Love at first puff, right? But there's some of those tobaccos that are, like I said earlier, harder to get to know. So how do you prepare them? Maybe you have a special way of preparing the pipe, and maybe one guy, I remember one time, he would basically char light it and let it sit for an hour or two, maybe even a day, and then come back and it would be just perfect. A Goldilocks pipe, not too strong, not too sweet, just right? So what kind of tobacco adventures have you had recently? Feel free to share, and with a video, a comment, or both, for all of us. So, Holy Smoking Pipe Padre, saying my trademark saying, light up your world, light up your pipe. We'll see you. Bye. How do I turn this thing off?